Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special live broadcast of the Goose Chicks podcast, an all women led show focused on the band Goose and the community that supports them. This is our official New Year's Eve run recap show. I'm so excited. We're doing things a little bit differently in this recap than you may have heard other people do. We're going to be bringing on some guests later in the show, which we're really excited about to talk about their experiences over New Year's Eve weekend. We have Bree from the Houseplant family who's going to join us to talk all about the Houseplant after party set in Covington. Kelsey from Jively Designs, who you've heard about on the show before, is going to come and talk with us about getting to meet and talk with Andrew Getty at the shows. And Sarah, who is president of the Western Sun Foundation, is going to talk to us all about how the New Year's Eve run fundraiser that we've also been talking about on the show went and more. But first, let's welcome the Goose Chicks podcast fam to the stage. We have Chelsea and Hannah and Alexius. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hey.
Hello.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy Goose Year. So good to see you all. We literally came up with this idea on the fly, like in our group chat, just like, hey, maybe we should do a live show and talk about the New Year's run. And it blossomed into what you all are about to experience. So we're really excited to talk with some great people, but wanted to start with the four of us because we had a monumental weekend together in Cincinnati. So first off, just overall thoughts of the weekend. Alexius, I'll start with you.
Oh, this weekend, no expectations were let down. I didn't set any for certain songs, but they delivered on, what I loved. And so I knew that they would deliver, but it was awesome with the people, with the music. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Chelsea, how are you doing? And how was the weekend for you?
It was so amazing. I think the best thing was all four of us being there together, even though we didn't stand together for all the shows, just being together was just amazing. So that added to it. But also just 4 sets. I just keep looking back and I'm just like, each set, I don't know. So it was amazing. So much fun. Want to do it again.
So much fun. We're going to get into the actual sets and talk about them a little later. So don't think you're not going to get that. You'll get that as well. Hannah, how about you? Overall impressions and thoughts from the weekend?
Wow. Hannah here, she, her pronouns. This is probably one of the most epic weekends of my life. And starting with night 0, which I think Kelsey and I are going to talk a little bit about. And then just seeing everyone, having so many friends all together. A lot of my friends who I've known for a long time met for the first time or whatever. It was, I can't. And the music, the first night was a playlist for Hannah. So anyway, I'm so happy that I got to share it with y'all.
Awesome. It really was. This is a funny story. We were talking in the group chat about this and I was rewatching night 1 and I literally put in my notes, oh, this was a Hannah show. Like immediately. It was the first thing I thought in my rewatch. So for sure, we'll get into that definitely. And so the second thing I wanted to ask before we move on to the rest of the show is, how did it feel for all of us to be together? I know for me, it was like, oh, wow, we have the same exact chemistry in person that we do on the show and virtually. So that was really fun to see and just great and awesome. Hannah, I'll go back the opposite way. So we'll start with you with this one.
I might tear up a little bit because I was thinking about how when I was in college, I always went to this little hippie bar in Columbus called Scarlet and Gray Cafe. And I always would run into people I knew. There would always be amazing music. And this weekend felt like that. And just being able to see you all. I mean, Candace Foley, I got to see all my friends from Ohio, just Kelsey, I got to reconnect with you from Jively Design. So it really just felt like home is the best way I can describe what this weekend felt like and being at the show with all my friends and seeing you all there.
Oh, I love that. It felt like home. That's so beautiful. Chelsea, how about you?
I think for me, just knowing you guys were also at the show just kind of made it different, a different feel, just like we were all experiencing it together. Like you said, Hannah said, I know we all felt that at the same time. We were all like, Echo, what? I know we'll talk about it later, but just those, we were all together, even though we weren't standing together. And it was just amazing to meet all of you. And we're just so much fun together. We just love each other so much, and I love it. So
Oh,
it was
we
great.
do. And it's funny because we've been at other shows together. We just didn't know it till now. And it was different, Chelsea, knowing that we were all out there and like getting to see each other at set break and everything. Alexius, how was it for you?
It was super exciting for all of us to be there and know each other were there. And y'all know how I am in energies and how I believe things bring us together in the universe. And so it just, to me, was meant to be, because even though that Hannah and I didn't get to meet up before, like I got to see Chelsea, I got to see you, Leslie, and then Hannah and I like quickly found each other just by chance. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is meant to be. And so like we knew where each other were, and it was just very exciting. And when Hannah and I ran into each other and a couple of songs had already happened, we were like, oh my gosh. And we just had a lot of commonalities or common things. And so it was really fun just to run in, to be able to run into everyone and to be able to talk to y'all and know that y'all are there.
We ran into each other at the bathroom because my girl Bailey was like, we were in the bathroom and she was like, I know that voice. Your voice is so distinct, Alexius. And so that's how we knew you were there.
And I did the same thing to you, Hannah, in the bathroom. I was like, Hannah, is that you?
I was having a ball in the bathrooms, y'all. Like I ran into so many friends. I ran into my friend Ellie at one point. Like I was just like, every time I went to the bathroom, I ran into someone I knew.
No, but seriously, the ladies' room at Goose shows, it's always popping. Like seriously,
so
we have
fun.
in there. Sorry, y'all. I know the dudes line is so long, and I be looking at y'all feeling really bad about it, but not really at all. Actually,
we are efficient in that. There are so many girls going in, but like we can get that stuff done, even talking to people. Like we're talking, having a whole conversation. Glittering up, getting ready even more, and we're still in there and out of there faster.
I helped a girl find a tampon.
There you go. These bathrooms, they actually, I was like, oh my gosh, these bathrooms at the venue had like tampons and pads and stuff out, and things that you would need, deodorant and different. I was like, ooh, this is nice.
That's right. Those were a clutch. Make those a thing. Let's keep that up. I like it.
Those were Western Sun Foundation that did that, right?
Yeah, I think so. We can talk to Sarah about that when she comes on. So
yes, I believe it was. So that was amazing.
Definitely saw the stickers, and I was like, this is a great idea. The stickers and the postcards, so that you could scan them and you get the information. So that was a very, very, very smart PR and getting everyone to know.
Absolutely. Alexius, I wanted to throw it to you one last time to just give a little shout out to somebody before we move on.
A shout out to
John Hudson.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry so much. Yes, I was going to bring that up. So everyone, I'm sure, how close our Goose community is. The first night, I think it was, John Houston had a cardiac arrest. And so everyone has been super worried about him. And thank heavens he reached out, and and he was going to be on the show tonight. He cannot be on the show tonight because he is not feeling as well right now and is getting some rest. And so, but he had some stents put in and he is okay. He is doing okay. He's healing in the hospital. And so we definitely need to send some love to John Hudson. And I was thinking about like what we could possibly do to help him, because I'm not for sure where he's from or how far away from home he is. And, I was thinking about that this afternoon. I was like, wow, that could be a whole nother adventure. And I'm definitely going to stay connected with him and find out what's going on to see, what we can possibly do as a community to help him. But thank heavens he is alive. He is here with us. And it was, he just wanted to talk about like health and as you get older, taking care of yourself and stuff, and like what, how we can take care of ourselves better at shows and stuff. A big problem is dehydration. Like people just don't drink enough. And I understand that, staying in line, you're like, oh, I don't want to, but you have to. So he is okay. And I just wanted to let everyone know, and he will be on the show in the future. And let's just, put it out in the universe that he will heal wonderfully and will be able to go home soon. And if you pray or however you do it, just let's put out positive energy and vibes for John.
Absolutely. John, we love you and we'll talk to you really soon. Just want to send you some good vibes. Okay, we're going to transition and bring Bree on in a minute. But before we do that, I'm actually going to play a quick clip from Houseplant's new song Freaks that they debuted at their after party. So let me get that going. Okay. We'll be back in a second.
To my love, to my right, and all I see is you beautiful freaks.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good.
So
That was the perfect intro. I love that.
that was a lot of fun. That night was a lot of fun. So, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Bree. Pronouns are she and her. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I actually just moved to Louisville, Kentucky over the summer. And that's kind of what like got me involved in the houseplant crew. Noah's my boyfriend. He does the video editing, and that's kind of how I've gotten involved with houseplant. Just trying to support them as much as I can, and it's been really cool to watch like all of my friends, Tavis, Colleen, and everyone using like their special talents to, produce something so awesome.
It's been, I haven't, you've been able to see it side all the time,
Yeah.
and just able to come out there earlier in the year. It was so cool to see them, and to see them the other night, I was excited. So, how did the house party, how did the houseplant after party come to be?
A lot of those questions probably are more like Colleen's route. She does all the booking for houseplant. But I remember as soon as Goose announced that they were doing New Year's Eve in Cincinnati, like all of our houseplant fam, and we call ourselves the Succulents, we basically just were like, okay, we have to get on this. So Colleen made it happen, reached out to Madison Live out in Covington, and made it happen and got everything rolling. So the energy and the build up for the show was just like super high. Not even just here in Louisville, I feel like just in the Goose community in general.
Yes, I feel like it was too. So for everyone who doesn't know, Colleen is Tavis's. She is Tavis's wife, and so
yes.
She is the wonderful lady behind the scenes, and who puts a lot of, who put a lot of time and effort into getting this going. We will have a future show with them on, like right now they're on family vacation, which I think we all wish I think we all wish that we were with them right now. But I hope that they have the best vacation, and we're so thankful that Bree was able to join us and, and help us like get a little bit of the vibe of the after party. Cause I personally think that it was a great turnout, and also like, how do you feel that it was like, how do you feel that the Goose community like came in, supporting, and, I have what I feel, but how do you feel that they did?
It was incredible. I mean, like sold out show. There was so much like hype and energy going into it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I think I said to Noah, I was like, I think I'm more excited for Houseplant than I am for Goose. And I feel like that was kind of the energy for a lot of people. Like, I love Goose, yes, but everyone was really excited to see Houseplant. There are so many people that hadn't seen Houseplant before, just because all of the members of the band are dads. You know, they have kids, they have full-time jobs. It's really hard for them to get out of Louisville and Kentucky to play a show. So it was a lot of, you know, like Goose community's first shows or second shows, you know, getting to see them. So
Right.
everyone showed up real hard. Sorry, I got
Oh,
a sip of
and it
water.
was, I mean, people were begging for tickets. We're trying to get tickets. I mean, I can't tell you
Yes.
like how many people they're like, can I get tickets? Can I get tickets? And I
It
was like,
was
I don't know, you know, and
crazy. The day before, I think someone posted in like our group chat, and there were like platinum tickets or resale tickets or something like that on Ticketmaster going for $50 a ticket, and it was a $10 ticket. Like, it was just crazy. And so, like, for me to see that happen for Tavis and the band and everyone who's just been really involved was super cool to just watch all of the build up for it.
It was
And
great. The build up was
yes,
great, and they delivered too. Like
they
that
sure
was,
did.
it was amazing. It was
It
so
was so
cool to see that
cool.
place. Like it was packed.
Yes.
When I came in, it just to try to get to y'all in the front was insane. It took a while, but
Yeah.
it was awesome how many people turned out. And so
Yeah. I did not move from my pocket. I stayed where I was.
I was super excited because I finally got like the bean sprout. I accidentally
Oh,
left it
yes.
upstairs. I was going to wear it. I've been so excited wanting one of those and keep looking at Dan and like, oh, I want, you know, that's so cool. And he's just always bouncing around and it's at every show. And then, you know, they were giving out a few bean sprouts and I was so pumped to get one.
Yes. The crowd energy was really awesome, and everyone was just fully in it.
I feel that way. I feel that they were. I just wanted to get your opinion and see. And so
Absolutely.
and so but tell us about the after party. Are there any highlights that you wanted to share the night? You know, any highlights?
So many.
Well, share them with us. We're here
first of
for
all,
it.
the fact that it was sold out was just really, really cool. Another thing, just going back to like the community showing up, you know, like Jeff showed up, Naveed showed up, Adam Berta came and shot photos, Jamie, Dan, like everybody showed up, like even the photographers, and got some really awesome shots. So that was like probably the highlight for me. The music was great, but just like the community aspect and having, you know, all of these amazing people around was probably my highlight. Just looking around and seeing all these beautiful faces, these beautiful freaks, I guess I should say. It was really, really cool. I mean, like in terms of jams, like the Hippie Hank was one of my favorite songs, and the Octopus got to be like 23 minutes or 24 minutes long, something crazy. But the like ending the show with Freaks was really cool because there's kind of like a background story behind the song that happened at Legend Valley, and two of the people who like inspired that song were in the crowd, standing next to each other in the crowd.
Ooh, do tell.
You have to go back and listen to the song, but it's talking about just a night at Legend Valley that ended up being a little bit crazy and a guy losing his pants. So I'll leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. I think yes, I know what you're talking about, but everyone should definitely go listen to that song and go listen to Houseplant. Yes. Period. They're so awesome. I think we all kind of get wrapped up in, you know, and how much we all love Goose, and, you know, but there are some other bands out there that are tickling our fancy, and Houseplant is definitely one of those bands. And I'm so pumped that they were able to make it happen and able to do all this for New Year's. I think that was probably like one of the major highlights of the weekend for a lot of people. A lot of people that I've spoken to have just, you know, just so excited that they got to see Houseplant, so excited to, I think that was definitely a highlight. And I think it's something that needs to happen again. And, you know, more than just New Year's, the other shows too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really hard for them to get out of Louisville, but upcoming shows here in Louisville on the 4th, they're playing at Headliners with Disco, which I believe they're based out of Columbus. And then on April 28th, they're actually going to be back in the same venue in Covington. So like Cincinnati fam, come through, and they'll be playing with Mr. Please, which is another local Louisville crew or Louisville band that is also phenomenal. But yeah.
And also a part of the Goose family.
Yes, no, it all
so
really so is. And that's like the coolest thing is that like Goose has brought so many of like me into the houseplant community and like everyone just together in so many different ways that, you know, we don't really see when we're at shows.
Exactly. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite parts is getting to know
Yeah.
people on the side. And, you know, the shows are amazing. And afterwards, you know, different shows, getting to know different friends because everyone's different than they are in line and at the show. So
Agreed.
it's a lot of fun. But thank you so much for joining us and talking to
Yeah.
us about houseplant and
Thanks
everything.
so much for having me. It was
I'm
fun.
so
It was good to see you.
Good to see you, and we'll
Hopefully
see you
we can get
soon.
houseplant on the road, actually.
Hopefully so. I would definitely be down for that. We need to get on back out here to North Carolina too. Like
Yeah.
fingers crossed, different places. So, well, we're gonna have Leslie join us back, and
Thank you, guys.
so thank you so much. Love ya.
Hey, oh my gosh, such a great conversation. The chat is like lit up with people just talking about how much fun they had and how much they love houseplant. Thank you, Bree, for joining us and jumping on. Again, this came together very quickly, so we're just so happy that people were able to. We are going to invite Sarah, who is the president of Western Sun Foundation, on screen now. Hey, Sarah.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
So
How are you?
good. So
Great.
you I know I just said your title, Western Sun Foundation, but if you want to just do a quick self-introduction for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Sarah Blazintik. I'm the president of Western Sun Foundation. And yeah, we are just getting started and had so much fun this weekend. So yeah, thank you so much for having us on here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. One, I'm going to put up, there was so many people are in the chat also talking about the baskets that y'all had in the ladies' room at New Year's Eve.
Yes, that was
So
us. That was
y'all.
us.
Thank y'all so much. People really,
Thank you.
they're
Yes.
in the chat talking all about it as well. Shout out to Cheyenne Cox, who took our group photo at
Yes,
the
thank
stand.
you. So excited to meet you.
So good to meet you. So many people we got to meet at the show, and I got to meet you for the first time in person.
I
Sarah,
know,
which
it was so
amazing.
good. I met you both. I got to hug you both, and that was such a highlight. So
Yes.
so many
Yes.
people I haven't gotten to, you know, be at Goose Miss or anywhere. So it's been so nice to finally meet Candace Foley. I finally got to meet her in person. Just people I've been working with for the past few months, and finally we all got to be together. So
Candace might get a shout out from everybody that touches the mic tonight. So.
She's awesome. How can you not
great.
shout out to Candace? Love her.
So just for folks that don't know, could you talk a little about the goals of the Western Sun Foundation? Because I was really moved when I heard about them. So I think it'd be great for folks to hear kind of what the goals of the foundation are overall.
Absolutely. So we are a fan-run nonprofit. We started about last summer. Jason Foley, Candace's brother, it was his vision, and we kind of all came together, big group of people, very passionate. I mean, you all know how passionate this community is, and we just knew that there was something bigger, this energy that we wanted to harness from the shows and put it into action. So we have 4 pillars that we support: music education, music therapy, the well-being of women and children, and then environmental sustainability. And then we will fundraise together through raffles and auctions and at shows. Goosecommunity.com is one of our projects, and that will soon be able to take donations. And then we'll give them back like we did this weekend at really special runs like New Year's Eve to local organizations that do good things in their community. So we'll do it on behalf of the Goose community. We really just want to give our energy, pull it together. We have it. We know we have it, and do good things so other people know about it too.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for all that y'all are doing. And I know it's a lot of work. So thank y'all so much for everything that y'all are doing.
Of course, it's been so incredible to see just the support of all of it. And so, yeah, we'll hopefully do a couple events a year where we'll channel that energy and pull it together and give it back to people who deserve it. A smaller nonprofit, so usually under $1 million operating budget, that really will see the impact of what we raise.
Love that. I love long-term goals too. So wonderful to hear that. Just mentioning Candace is in the house, so I put her comment up here. Hey Candace, we love you so much. And hey Jason as well. Yeah. Go ahead, Alexius.
Okay, so New Year's Eve was the first show that Western Sun Foundation held a fundraiser for a local organization. So who did the fundraiser benefit and how did it go?
Yeah, so first I want to say it's absolutely incredible that we even got where we were. So thanks to everybody who's been involved, because it was a pipe dream to even launch a campaign by November when we did, and then pull it off of our first in-person event and be a 501c3 within a few weeks. So Angela, Lindsay, and Jason, and Candace, and everybody that's been involved, thank you for that. But we chose Peaslee Neighborhood Center, which was a local organization just 2 miles away from Andrew J. Brady Center. They used to be a school, and then they shut down, and now they're a creative space that, you know, local people in the community can come in and take workshops and various programs and classes. The two that really stuck out to us were their sliding scale piano program, which is kind of a pay as you go, whatever you can afford to come take piano lessons. And then the other was a girls writing circle that teaches young women in the community how to write and use their voice. And that is actually put into schools as well in the area. So this little community center was just so awesome. They were amazing to work with. They were so thankful and sending us videos. Shout out to Goose community. They'd never heard of Goose. We invited them to the shows. We didn't get them there, but it was just really cool to be able to see the input and the impact that we could make. We raised $3,840 for them. So
wow.
Yeah, and they are, like I said, a small nonprofit. So that amount of money, I come from nonprofit, so that means a lot to them. They were like, who are these people and why do they want to give us money? And then they were cheering us on. So we actually had a volunteer that stopped by our table and said, I volunteer at Peaslee and they're awesome. Like, they knew who we were supporting too. So that was really cool. So those are they fit two of our pillars, and it was really cool to get to know them. And kind of as we did the campaign, we kept learning more, and we were just really excited about it. So it was fun to get to know an organization and like actually see it hands-on too.
That's exciting. I know I was standing in line and someone came up, and I think that she was a teacher therapist or somehow working with kids. And so she really wanted to get these poems across to Western Sun. Did you get them?
Yes.
And I figured Candace would make sure that you had gotten them.
We have them. We're plotting. It will be so great. Just, it's awesome how much people have ideas and are excited about this. And to be able to pull it together and pull it off so quickly and have so much support is just, I mean, we knew we had something, but then just to see it in action, I get goosebumps every day. And I was telling Angela and Lindsay, I was like, as we were giving the spiel at the table of what we do, I like have to be like, wow, that's really cool. Like, but we do that. So it's awesome. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank y'all for all of your work, and it takes so much to put all of that effort into getting something started. You know, what's the response been from Goose fans and from the Goose community? And also most importantly, how can we make sure people continue to support these efforts moving forward? I know one of the things that you and I talked about before, I was like, it's going to be so cool in a couple of years when, you know, a New Year's run or a special run happens, and like the community that you're going into is expecting Western Sun Foundation to show up, right? And they'll be like, oh, I hope they choose us. You know, just, I know that's what's going to be in the future. People just really being excited about being in community with y'all and with the rest of the Goose community. So yeah, first let folks know where they can support Western Sun Foundation and different ways they can do that. And then if you want to share a little about what's next and what folks can expect in the next, 6 to 12 months from y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, like I could cry just thinking about the support. Everybody, most of the people that stopped by our table said, "I've already heard of you," or, "Thank you for what you're doing." Like it was like we were just in awe of how much people have already heard of us and were excited about getting involved. So you can go on our website, and the biggest thing is word of mouth. We want everybody to know, share our socials, go on our website if you want to get involved, if you have special skills you want to lend. Like I said, the support is overwhelming. So if we don't get back to you right away, I promise we're going to try and utilize all our volunteers, and eventually we will. We'll just keep building that database. So there's an inquiry form on our website that you can go to and fill out, any skills that you have that you want to lend. Always in-kind donations, the support from the artists, the support from the band, the support from management has been incredible. So thank you to all the fan artists that have donated raffle prizes and auction items. And really, Goose and the management has been so supportive and excited about this too. So we want to keep that going. And so in-kind donations, merch, anything you want to donate that could be used later for a raffle or a merch or an auction. And then just because the campaign with Peasley stopped doesn't mean we're done collecting donations. We're always running, we're always working, plotting for the next campaign, and you can donate on our PayPal. Soon we will have donate buttons on goosecommunity.com and our website. But right now you can use our PayPal, which is just Western Sun Foundation, and so is all our socials. Again, there have been people that have reached out and said, I hand out bracelets at shows and I want to say, I want to make them donate to Western Sun or suggest that they do. Or we had a fan that does fans of Goose prints, and he did an auction for us on his own. So these people, all of our community has been so creative and wanting to give back to us. So again, from the bottom of our hearts, I think I've said thank you 1,000 times, but it's not enough. So PayPal, you can still donate in kind, and then our website too. But again, word of mouth is the biggest key component, getting people, the right people to, hear about us and get excited about us. So that's how.
I love that. I love that. And it's great to hear the response has been so great, not just from the band, but also from fans and from all the amazing artists. We try and highlight a lot of fan artists on our show a lot. We have one that's going to be on in just a little bit. Kelsey's joining us, so it's going to be really great. So yeah, is there anything that any teasers you want to provide anyone listening? Like what can they expect in the next, coming up for Western Sun, and what should people be looking out for besides making sure we spread the word and follow Western Sun everywhere, all the socials that you all have?
Yeah, so we are just decompressing from the New Year's run and kind of getting our ducks in a row. Like I said, it's been a whirlwind of getting approved and everything all together. But we're hoping to do some kind of special campaign around the cap run, and then going forward, we'll definitely have something in the summer with a table. But we're thinking some kind of, special fancy auction. So if anybody has some cool one-of-a-kind things that they think Western Sun Foundation would be interested in, you can send them our way. But keep your eyes peeled. We'll have very exciting things in the new year. And Happy New Year, everybody. And thank you so much for having us, Goose Chicks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thanks for joining us again. It's right on the screen, westernsunfoundation.org. It's also in the chat, so you can just pick it up from there as well. And it's also in every one of our show notes on the show. You'll see a link to Western Sun Foundation. So make sure you check them out. Thanks for joining us again,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
I'm going to bring Hannah and Chelsea on and turn the floor over to them for our next conversation. You have the floor.
Hey, so we're going to be talking with Kelsey from Jive Lee Designs. And there she is.
Hi.
And we're so excited to have you. I met Kelsey through friends of friends. And so our paths have crossed at some different shows. And maybe I'm biased because you're from Cincinnati in Ohio, but I think you're one of the most talented fan artists, and we have a lot, but your prints are so amazing. I just love your work. So I don't know, do you want to do a little self intro real quick?
Sure. My name is Kelsey. I'm from Cincinnati. Let's see. I got into Goose. I have a pretty similar story, I think, to the most fans around here these days. I went to the last show. I think it got called out at the show. I'm not sure, but I went to the last show, the Pigeons and the Goose tour. That was basically the last show before lockdown. That was my first Goose show. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I got a little taste of them, and then went on lockdown. So of course, I went down the rabbit hole. We bought that couch tour stream or whatever it was, and then I think just YouTube videos from there on out, and then I became obsessed. So I didn't start doing art until this past summer, though. So that's when Jive Lee was kind of born. So yeah.
Yeah. And you and I have been following each other on Instagram, and we chat and stuff sometimes, but we've never met. So this is the first time. So it's so good to meet you. And I have slaps on my way from you.
Yeah,
I had
I'm
to get
sorry.
the New
I was
Year's
getting
one.
my life together still. They're in the
No,
mail.
you're good. No hurry. I was just like, oh, I missed out on the disco ball. I really wanted the disco ball. So I'm super excited you're sending those to me. Thank you.
Yeah,
So tell us some more about Jive Lee Designs.
Yeah, so Jive Lee has kind of a cute little story about its name. So I have a little 3-year-old girl. Her middle name is Lee. She is named after one of my good friends that passed away. Lee, she's Maggie Lee is my daughter, and then my friend was Maddie Lee that passed away, and it just kind of seemed to fit. I mean, I was kind of looking for something Goose-esque, obviously, but I don't know, it just kind of seemed to fit. So I'm actually in the middle of getting my real estate license, and I felt out of touch with social media, and I felt as a real estate agent, I have to kind of learn how to promote myself and whatever. And a lot of people were using Canva. So I hopped on Canva, and I just started kind of having fun with it. And then, of course, I was listening to Goose probably as I was doing these little pictures and stuff, and it slowly turned into me making lyrics, and then it kind of started, it was like a segue to me being well, maybe I could make some merch here. And yeah, so I didn't using other people's, you can use their clip art and stuff like that, and I didn't like that, so I kind of got determined to use Adobe Illustrator. And then it's kind of funny because the Goose girl, the one that kind of went viral on Instagram a little bit, she was born because I didn't know what I was doing. I could literally only use the paintbrush when I first started doing Adobe. I didn't know what I was doing. So I literally just kind of opened it up one day, and there she was. She was born. So I hope that was a good recap.
Yeah.
I had all these notes written down, and I don't think I looked at them once, but yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's kind of her story. So
So I'm going to off-road a little bit too, since you're not using your notes. Our night for the Goose Run kind of started on night 0, right? And so, so there was this show at a fish bar in Cincinnati, and there were rumors that maybe some of the people in the band were going to be there, and we were all there. And then someone told Jeff who was at this bar, that there was this really cool band playing at Stanley's, which comes full circle because Houseplant has played Stanley's very recently, which is a cool little dive bar that has a lot of good shows in Cincinnati. And so everyone ends up there, and Kelsey shows up, and she's like, well, I really want to talk to Jeff, but I'm scared. And I get that because I get nervous in social situations, but if it's for someone else, then I'll be like, well, I'll do this for you. I don't care if it's for someone else.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous. I was just standing there awkwardly, I don't know how to do this. I can't.
And so I'm literally drunk on my phone, Jeff, look at this really cool boot picture, trying to show the picture that my friend has on his wall that you made. And then I finally get to it, and he's like, oh yeah, I know your work. And so that was really cool because Jeff actually knows your artwork and everything.
He said, "Oh yeah, you're famous," and I was just like, "What? Excuse me? Like, no." I'm glad this really actually happened because I'm like, I think I blacked out for a little bit during our conversation, and I'm like, "Am I dreaming? Did this actually happen?" Like,
it did happen, and it was so cool. Like he just went there, wanted to see some live music, was like taking videos and stuff like that. Super chill dude. He listened to us, like kind of gas each other up. Like you kept talking about the podcast and I kept trying to talk about your art.
yes.
And so it was just a really cute moment for sure.
Definitely. Well, it was really cool when we were talking because Jeff, he lived in Cincinnati. I don't think he's originally like born and raised, but he lived a half a mile from me. So like literally he asked me, you know, I said, where in Cincinnati are you from? And he said, "Oh, do you know a road called blah, blah, blah?" And I was like, "I live off blah, blah, blah road, actually." So yes, I do. And it's about a half a mile away from where I live. So that was a pretty cool little story.
So tell us about the Getty t-shirt and sort of what happened once you realized you were famous to Jeff. What happened next?
So the Getty shirts, well, I reached out to Getty, you know, after I had everything done and everything. And I figured that him and Marta might want one. And I just offered them. I was like, "Can I please bring you one at New Year's?" Hoping, you know, that he would say yes. And he did. He wanted one. So we had balcony seats. I had to be escorted to the soundboard because they were keeping all the floor people and all the balcony people separated. So I go down there and I like approach the woman at the door and I'm like, "So yeah, I have these t-shirts. Can I just like walk in there and give them to the soundboard, or you can do it for me?" Like I was so nervous and I didn't care how they got to him. I just wanted him to get them. And so they did. They escorted me over, and he was obviously like the sweetest human ever. He was so nice, you know. He's like, just basically says he's happy to meet me. I'm like, "Oh no, I'm happy to meet you, sir. Like you are amazing," you know. And so actually I got to give my Goose Girl slaps to Jeff because of Getty. I asked Getty to do one little favor, and I made Jeff a little envelope too. So I think they got to him, hopefully. Yay. But that was really cool. This whole weekend, I mean, it was just unbelievable. Like just everything about it was unbelievable. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. I'm so glad you got to give Getty those shirts.
Me too. I was really nervous per usual, but I mean, it went well and it was great. So
yeah, those and the Goose Girl shirts were popping off.
The Goose Girl, man. I got to give a shout out to my girl Felicia, Divided Sky Dyes, who did the dyes for those.
Yes.
She killed it. She
yes.
killed it.
That was an amazing collab.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love
amazing.
that it happened organically and just like two fan artists who are hella talented just getting together. Boom. Amazing shirts.
I tried to like kind of explain this a little bit to somebody, but like our friendship that came out of that collaboration means more to me than anything. I mean, that quite literally, like when you ladies wear those shirts, you're wearing a like friendship on your shirt because we set out to do that collaboration, but like it was, you know, instantly we were texting each other every day, just like sharing a love for not only music, but just we have such a like a mutual bond and such a similar past, and it was amazing. It was, you know, just synchronicities that keep happening with this band that are amazing. So
yes, I love that. I love that. So one last thing. So how can people support you and find you like on social media and everything?
Really right now, I'm not super active on Facebook, so I don't have a Facebook page, but just through my Instagram, Jive Lee Designs, that's going to be kind of where I'm posting everything, just anything. Not everything that I make is to sell. I do just like a lot of art that are little doodles or lyrics or just whatever I'm feeling at that moment. And I'm going to throw it up there. And so yeah, that's the best way. Just follow my Instagram. I have a link for whatever I kind of have available at the time. And yeah.
And I'm going to take one last opportunity to gas you up again, because we were chatting after the New Year's Eve run, and you were saying how inspired you felt just to like continue creating your art and doing good for the community and that sort of thing. So expect big things from Jive Leave Design in the upcoming 2023.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's a big priority for mine. I just want to give back to this awesome community. I mean, I can't get over it. So
for sure. Well, thank you for joining us. And I think
thank
we're
you
going
so
to sort of transition again, and Leslie and Alexius are going to hop back on.
Thank you, Kelsey.
yeah, thank you so
I love
much.
you. You're the best.
I love you guys.
Love
Can't wait to see you.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Wow, great combos.
Oh yeah.
Listen, when we started talking about having this conversation, and we were like, we can invite Kelsey, and we can bring Sarah on, and how about Bree? Like, we literally just kept thinking of more amazing women to bring on to talk about the weekend and their experiences. So I'm really happy that we were able to have Bree and Sarah and Kelsey here with us to talk about their work, which is so amazing, and their experiences over the weekend. One of the things we wanted to bring is just helping people see the wide variety of experiences that happened in this, 2 to 3 days in Cincinnati, because Goose put out the call that they wanted us all in Cincinnati to be together for the new year. And, all this amazing stuff that happened, the house play after party, the support for Western Sun, Kelsey getting to get her stuff to Andrew and to Jeff. And then obviously, I think everybody has a Jeff story from this weekend. From what I've noticed, this is just Jeff was everywhere. So shout out to you, Jeff. If you do see this,
Thank you, Jeff. Yes.
For all of your friendliness and how great you are with everyone, and just being so
But
great.
Jeff, you still owe me a drink. You forgot my drink the other night. So you still owe me a drink.
And selfies with 3 of the 4 of us. So you owe Chelsea a selfie as well.
Yeah,
so
I need to get a photo ASAP.
We'll write these down.
My dream
all right.
he got trash crewed, so
Yeah, that's right. Well, we love you, Jeb. Thank you so much. And thanks for being so great to everyone, and helping connect more and more people to each other. Yes.
Team Fred.
All right. We're going to transition to our recap. But before we do that, I wanted to mention that we have a phone line. You can call the Goose Chicks podcast at 704-275-3821 and tell us about your experiences with Goose. Tell us about what the band has meant to you, what experience you've had, how you feel about the community, really anything. And we might play your story on the show. Speaking of which, we had a call come in while we were actually right after we got back. And so I'm going to play that right now so we can all listen together. Let's see.
Good morning, chicks. This is Mother Goose from Dayton. That is the moniker I always, when I would check in over the fall tour and so forth, check in on Reddit. And I am home from New Year's Eve. It was just freaking awesome. I was on the rail second set night 1 and in the balcony on night 2. A little bit about myself is that I'll be 62 next month. Yep, I still rage. And one of the things about Goose that attracted me was that I really can walk. I live near a river in the parks in Dayton. And every morning this past summer, and even continuing as of yesterday, listening to the New Year's Eve show on Nugs, listening to Goose, I've been able to lose 25 pounds. I have told my 83-year-old mother, I said, you need to put these boys on because it's going to make you move.
Yes.
I appreciate the Goose community so much. I am a widow. Unfortunately, he passed away 6 years ago, and I know he would love this music. He would love this band. And I met some great people this weekend in Cincinnati. One of them I met on Reddit, never met them before, didn't even know their name until this weekend. And she made me a beautiful little bracelet that said Mother Goose. And so I really appreciate the community. I am now thinking about flying to Bozeman for those 2 nights. And here I am in Dayton, Ohio. And honk, honk, everybody. Love you. Bye.
Honk, honk, girl.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
suggest you
Honk,
go.
everybody.
That was
Oh.
awesome.
I love that
We
so
have
much.
the best community.
Definitely. I hope
real.
I'm as cool as her at 62. She's awesome. And I can definitely rage. I'm pretty positive I know exactly who that is. And I know exactly because when I heard that voice, I was like, pretty positive I know exactly who that is. So love her to death. She's
Yes.
awesome.
Shout out to you, Mother Goose. Thanks for calling in. And I just wanted to, let everybody know you can call and you can be played on the show too. So join us. All right. We're going to get into our actual recap now, y'all. Are we ready? Are we ready to talk about this?
Oh, whew, it was a
Yes. So, wow. What we are going to take this one set at a time because we figured that would be the easiest way for us to talk about it. So here we go. We're going to start with night one. First, let's talk about vibes in the crowd. What was it like? Where everybody was sitting and so on. I'll say I was in the balcony, the first balcony. I had some seats up there and great view, really beautiful space. It was very exuberant. People were super excited up on the balcony and just like ready to see what the band was going to do over the weekend. So for night one, that was what I picked up from everybody, especially because a lot of folks were just getting into town that day and kind of like getting themselves to the show, and everything was like a lot of work for folks. And so people were just kind of like, okay, we're in, like, I'm ready, like I'm buckled in. That was the energy that I was feeling. I don't know about y'all. Chelsea, how about you? What were the vibes and where were you for that show?
So I was Trevor side up by the ADA section, so pretty close. I would say like maybe if you're counting rows, like 7 rows back ish. I was trying to hang by the ADA rail to get some air. That worked out pretty well. And yeah, I think the vibes night one were really good. Everyone was just really positive, ready to get the weekend started. I was handing out stickers, which was really fun. I've never done that before at a show, so I was like, this is so fun, and met so many people that night, just even before the show started. So it was super exciting. It was just so much fun.
It's so fun to give stickers out. Everybody always wants some, and it's fantastic. So it's really nice. Hannah, where were you night one with your Cincy trash crew?
As promised, I was under the Arby's sign. Trevor's side, there's 2 actually. So it's like it's the area on the floor that's like where the balcony cuts off, and we were trying to be a little ahead of the Arby's sign so we'd get the better acoustic, but then we just kept getting pushed back. And y'all know me, like whenever I went up to the rail to take pictures with you all, I was just like, my anxiety is so bad right now. Like, I'm just not a rail front row center type gal. It's just not my jam. But the vibe was amazing no matter where you were. So yeah, for sure. The vibe was very excited. A lot of people were just coming in and everyone was just talking. Like, we were talking to people next to us. Everyone was just vibing for sure.
And Alexius, who I think rode you only rode around both nights of the show. So yeah, how was night one up there?
It was really hot up there night one. It was extremely hot, and so I ended up having to go to the restroom, and then actually ended up spending, I think, the first set of the first night in the ADA up there, and because the lights were they were different lights, so my eyes weren't as adjusted to them, and so actually I did but I was on the rail in ADA, so I was still like right there on the rail. So, but yeah, I was Trevor's side as always, ready for those Trev bombs to come. So yes, I was, but I was on a spot that I couldn't see Ben, and y'all know how I love Ben. So but it was awesome on the rail. where you were on the rail. No, you were on the balcony first
I was
night.
upstairs. Yeah, first night I was upstairs. I was tired, y'all. I'm old and I traveled. I was like, if I want to do the rail tomorrow, I gotta like make sure I'm good tonight. So I went upstairs for night one so I could rest my feet a little bit because I go a little loud. Yeah.
That's why I ended up in ADA, because I was trying to get to you and they wouldn't let me upstairs, and then the internet was, and I had the tickets and to get up there and I just couldn't do it. And I was like, whatever, I'll just go to ADA so that I can sit down and, and everything will be okay. And so thank heavens that I was able to do that. But
yes. And then the Hannah show started. So let's get into that. So set one, first of all, I am a firm believer that all the best Goose shows start with Elizabeth. There's a thing about Elizabeth started shows. So I just want to mention
I could get behind that.
And I just shows that Elizabeth opened and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's very like there's something about kicking off that any show with that song that does something to the rest of the set that I think is really special. So I love
it. That's my best friend's one of his. He does not like any Goose song, but it's like one that it's not his favorite. So anytime they open with Elizabeth, I always like freak out and I'm like, guess what song it is? So it was like, that's what I'm saying. Like it was a Hannah show through and through, because even little inside jokes like that, where it was just like, yeah, I knew when they opened with Elizabeth, it was going down.
For sure. My first show I ever saw of Goose, they opened with Elizabeth and I was like, oh shit, this is some different stuff. Like I was like, oh my gosh,
I think mine was too. Oh my god.
See, look it. See, they hooked all of us with Elizabeth. First note, for sure. So yeah, favorite song from this first set of night one. I'd love to hear. Alexius, what was the standout for you?
So, like you said, the Elizabeth opener was great and always a great, start. But the first set, of course, that Echo of a Rose. And sorry to say that, Hannah, but but when it came on, a lot of people were wearing roses and like sending out the vibes. And when it came on, I was like, oh yes, Hannah. And but I was excited for you, but then the rest of us got like, for Hannah, we got the GOAT Echo Rose. In my humble opinion, I would say that 23 minutes and 36 seconds was definitely the GOAT of Echo of a Rose for this year, definitely. And thus far, in my opinion, everyone has different ones.
Yeah, and I know Jam of the Year is going on right now, so I don't even want to start any fights out in the streets, because it's already very choppy out there. People are arguing about all the jams. Chelsea, what was the standout for you since set one, night one?
I actually am going to go with Blood Buzz. I really like that song, and I happen to get to hang out with my friends Jason and Sarah. Shout out to you guys. Love you guys, that I met at Legend Valley, and I met up with them again that night. So they were there. They're my Ohio friends, and they were super excited for the Blood Buzz Ohio. So getting to watch that with them was super cool. And I just really have grown to love that song since they played it, I think at Red Rocks, was it?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of, I wasn't expecting that. So that was a fun, cool thing for me.
Yeah. I was expecting it. I assumed they'd be playing
I guess I'm not an Ohio person, because it was not in my brain. And then like when it came on and I looked at Sarah and I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, that's so sweet. So that was fun.
Hannah, I think I know the answer to this question, but what was
plot twist? I'm gonna tell a funny story. So since everyone highlighted everything that I was going to say, I'm gonna talk about that Turn Clouds, because
yes.
This song just reminds me of drinking coffee in Hawaii, getting pumped for my morning. It's one of my favorite songs to dance to. But as Echo goes on and on, me and my friend are like, oh, I think it's going to be set break after Echo, but it wasn't. And I had to pee really bad. So I'm like, well, shit, I guess I'm going to the bathroom. And so I'm like in the bathroom, and then the part where the song breaks and the new part starts. And so that happens. And I'm like, wait, I run back out of the bathroom real quick. And then I'm like, okay. And then I'm in the bathroom singing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, I can really feel the bass in the bathroom. And I don't know what
Plot
Trevor was
twist,
doing.
plot twist.
But like I was like, dang, this sounds good in the bathroom. So
You did
I
it.
swear I didn't spend my whole time in the bathroom.
Allegedly.
It just, that's why you were still in the bathroom when I went in there, right? That makes complete sense now. Those Trevor bombs were dropping.
They really were.
They were.
I
They
clutch
were.
my chest sometimes where I literally just scream Trevor like so loud because like
Yeah.
my whole I jokingly say he's like rearranged my bowels a few times.
Quite literally almost in this case. Because I was just like, what is
It's
that?
true though. Like some of those notes, I'll just be like, wow, that really
Yeah.
I felt that one for sure.
Oh,
I actually wrote for the Turning Clouds. It was one of the smoothest versions of that song that I've heard them do. Just brilliant, clear, just like really, really beautiful. If I had to pick a standout for me, it was the Slow Down California Magic. I just loved this version of the song. It was like super funky, very like down and like dug in. I really loved it. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, I guess I'm moving on to what surprised us about the set. One thing that surprised me, especially in rewatching it, was Rick moved so much in this first set that his Steadicam lost him during Blood Buzz. Like literally, he just disappeared. I was like, where did he go? And then he like jumped back into frame. And I will say, we've been talking about this about Rick's stage presence post Taboos tour and just seeing him become more animated on stage and more interactive. And every show I've seen since the Taboos tour, I just feel like it's him like being more and more open on stage, and it's just been so great to see. So that was one thing I wanted to highlight. It didn't surprise me per se, but I just noted it, just him moving around so much that his actual camera lost him. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And also, just Navi was already invoked earlier in the show, but Navi was working one of the steady cams for the first time this night. And so shout out to Navi for literally jumping in and taking on a new role on the Goose team and, kicking ass whenever he's asked to jump into anything. I just love that guy so much. So what were you saying, Anna? Yeah.
Oh, just that for me, California Magic is like when I think of like what I want our generation's rock god song to be, like that just sounds like a rock star song. So it makes sense to me that that's the one he's like moving around more on. And then my sister told me recently that song reminds her of our dad because like we have our song that reminds us of our mom. So when I say it was a Hannah set, it was like, yeah.
Anything else that stood out for Chelsea, you or Alexius, that you wanted to mention about set one?
Can we just talk about the new screen situation we had? I was like, what is happening? Because usually they have lights behind them. And I was like, at first I just thought it was like a venue thing, like they always have a screen. I don't know. But I saw in Coach's notes, it was like, it's a new screen.
Yep.
So that was really cool. And I was like, whoa, this is something different. Visuals going on up there with the Getty lights. And I'm sure Getty was controlling all that too. I don't know. So yeah, that was really cool.
Controlling everything. And it was very cool. But it was also like, to me, it was like, oh, this is like a new palette for Getty's and his team.
Yeah.
Like the big white balls for Goose Miss. So I was like, when I saw the screen, I immediately was like, ooh, new toys, new tricks, new things to see. So I was excited to see it. And it was from upstairs. I can tell you, night one, it was just gorgeous. Just the way the lights were on the side of the screen and the different shapes they were able to make with it. It was really gorgeous.
That's awesome.
All right. Set two, night one. What was your favorite song from set two, Hannah? Oh, wait, before we move on, I do want to mention that if you watch, I don't know if they're going to show this on the YouTube release, but if you watch it on Nugs, there's an amazing slideshow that they played during set break of all these memories of the last year of Goose. So if you do watch, don't fast forward because it's really amazing. And especially if you've been to a bunch of shows, you can see all the shows you've been to and different shots from them. And shout out to all of the photographers that were up there because I saw so many. A lot of Adam Berta, obviously, but a lot of other ones as well. So I just wanted to mention that if you watch on Nugs, don't fast forward through set break because the pictures are really cool. All right, Hannah, turning over to you. Favorite from set two, night one.
Well, obviously it was This Old Sea. which so my best friend and I've only been to one run without him, and that was when I got my This Old Sea. So I didn't think that we would get one together, and it was just like there were a lot of our friends weren't around us for whatever reason, and we're just like I'm just like oh, and we're just like hugging, and then and like I'm like crying and like and then oh it was almost too much. And then my sister, lo and behold, I didn't know, I had recently given her my Nugs login information. So she used it and she purchased the stream. So then a few songs later, I'm like trying to find some of my friends or whatever. And I look at my phone and my sister's like, This Old Sea. So it was just like my favorite two people all vibing with me for this song that just like, oh, touches my heart so much. So definitely that would have to. And then, oh yeah. And then Candace is saying it goes into Hollywood Nights. And like, that was just a flawless transition. I mean, come on, people. So yeah.
Yeah. Alexius, how about you? Stand out from set 2, night 1.
So set 2, night 1, they weren't the goats, I wouldn't say. Well, you know, but those first 3 songs in that set were insane. My mind was blown. And like some of my favorites, Into the Mist, Arcadia, Slow Ready. That it's just it makes me in such a happy place. It was just like I just did not think that I was going to get those 3 in a row. Like 3, you know, it's just not usually what happens. Like 3 that just speak to you so much, and then they're, you know, right there in a row, and they're big ones too, you know. So I was just like, oh my gosh. So that was very, very, very exciting for me. And Trevor was absolutely killing it. I mean, he just was the standout. Like those bombs that he was dropping, just like, you know, what Hannah was saying, you could feel him in the bathroom, like, you know, and just being in front of it. I just was like, oh my gosh, we were all like, when he would drop those bombs and stuff, like even the guys and everyone just like, oh yeah, like you should have seen the guys' faces. Like they're just like, oh yeah, like everyone's just like totally. So I mean, just Trevor, like, you know, those songs were amazing, but Trevor was definitely the standout of the weekend for that night, the weekend. He just, Trevor is all I can say. Trevor made it very sexy, made it very enjoyable for all of us, and is definitely just moving and grooving and feeling his groove, which is making all of us feel our groove, and is even making us feel. It's making, you know, it's amazing music anyway, but then when you see Trevor like getting into it and stuff, and like all it's just it was awesome. Definitely,
we have a lot of love for Trevor on this show. If you listen to our most recent episode, you hear us all about tweaks. We absolutely adore Trevor.
Yeah, the first night I was thinking that because we were all Trevor's side the first night. I was like, yeah, we're all Trev's side tonight. So that's interesting. And we were like perfectly spaced out.
Yeah, we were all over.
But honestly, if you're smart about it, like I love Trevor. I love, you know, but I like to stand where I stand, because like it's usually between Trevor and Rick, because I can see Trevor, I can see Ben, I can see Rick, I can see Peter, I can see, you know, Jeff, I can see all of them. And, you know, and Peter likes to lock eyes with people. If you think about it, while he's playing the keys, he's like looking right over to Trev's side too. So you're getting like the whole shebang. Like I probably shouldn't have said that, because maybe now people might come Trev's side. You know, instead of like,
we'll make room. We get love.
So yeah, we'll be talking about that on our next show, which is going to be really fun, about the rail and all the shenanigans that happen up there and everything. It's going to be really cool. Chelsea, did you pick your favorite from the set?
No, I was gonna pretty much everything Alexia said, but Arcadia is what I had chosen. There was like, they did like a 6-minute like jam intro before they even got to it, and it's just really chill. And then it got into it, and I was vibing to that song. So it was like right in the middle of the set, super long. It was just amazing. So plus all the Trevor bombs that are dropping.
Wrote in my notes next to Arcadia, I just put monster. I literally just wrote because it really was a monster, Arcadia. And probably from this set, the standout for me was Arcadia. I think I've listened to it like 3 times already since I've been back. It may be at the top of my Arcadia list by the end of the month, but who knows? Let's see what surprised you. I really loved the 80s synth on the Slow Ready version that we
Yes.
got this night. I hadn't heard it played that way before, and I thought that was really just smart, really cool. I actually felt the whole weekend had an 80s vibe to it. I don't know why. There was just something about the lighting. Even the screen behind them felt a little bit like Take On Me video-esque. Like
Ooh.
there was just something about, I don't know, the entire production that gave me like retro vibes. And that song just like really drove it home for me. When I heard the synths come in, I was like, oh shit, they're going full 80s. Like this is awesome. So that was a surprise to me. And they always find another ways to like wow us with our favorite songs, and they still sound different. So that was something that surprised me. How about y'all? Anything that stood out or you wanted to definitely highlight?
There was just so many jams. Like, even if you look at the set list, like all the songs were so long. It just was every song they just jammed out so hard that it was just like, that's what Alexius asked for in our New Year's Eve wish list. Like, you got it. So that was, to me, that was like, whoa, this is a really jammy set, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good one.
It was a great intro night to, you know, sometimes you want on 2 nights, you can get, it was definitely not a letdown first night. And I'm not saying Goose ever lets you down, but it can be like a, you know, an up and down. But personally for me, I felt that night 1 was awesome, was amazing. And, you know, and it was like the build up, you know, and just building it up and of great songs. And, you know, and that Elizabeth opener, like you said, if you get an Elizabeth opener, you know, it's going to be a great show. And so I thought that it was a great, obviously I'm going to say that, but it was great. And then like in the second set and Into the Mist, I love Into the Mist, and just kept getting better, and it was all great. So when you say, do you want to say anything special? I don't know. I could say every single song.
You say all the things, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Couple notes, because Alexius and I got our hands on some set lists for both nights, and so some changes that were evident from the set list as it was written and what we got to hear. There was supposed to be a jive lead between California Magic and Seekers, so that's one thing that was changed. We were also supposed to get an Emborg for the encore, so that's interesting that they went with Butter Rum and Doobie song instead. And I think there was supposed to be one more song between
Empress.
Slow Ready and We'll See. Right.
Drag-
And there was supposed to be an Empress that they moved to night 2.
Empress.
We're definitely
Yeah.
going to talk about it. The Empress was supposed to be the end of the set instead of Hollywood Night. So just a couple of changes. I love when they always keep us guessing. I love looking at the set list as it's written versus what we hear, because to me it's like the stuff that they think about, you know, on stage in the moment. And it's just great to see them kind of still in that creative space. Even on stage, they're still moving and moving with however they feel and where spirit's moving them in the moment, which I love.
And I'll go back and think. Sorry, go ahead, Hannah.
I was just going to say, I think it's interesting hearing everyone talk about the jams, because one of the critiques I got from some new Fish fans I met for night 1 was that the jams felt contrived night 1.
Contrived.
Okay.
What should that mean? Like,
let's just say on night 0, I spent a lot of time just fucking with these Fish fans, because I was just like,
yes.
The one guy who was giving me a really hard time, his I don't know, it was his girlfriend or whatever, his lady friend. Whenever he was like in the bathroom, whatever, she was like, you should say this, you should do this. And so we were like plotting against it. It was so fun.
Torturing just a little bit more, yeah.
But like, it was cool when we got to run into some of those Fish fans that had hung out with night 0, nights 1 and 2, and like seeing the evolution of their like, oh, these are some crunchy jams. Like as the sets progressed, that was a really cool experience for sure.
I love that. I love it. I don't think we have to talk about the encore, but as I said, it was Butter Rum, and then they finished up with Doobie songs.
I do have to say that Doobie song gave me life. I don't know why. I would never expect a Doobie song. I don't know why. But when it came on, I was like, this is what I needed at this moment in my life right now.
You know what it felt like?
was
It
so
felt like
perfect.
they were putting a comma on the night. Sometimes
Yeah,
they
it was
end
like
just that and it's a period, but because they ended with Doobie Song, it felt like a comma. It was like, see you tomorrow. It was
That's
very
what it
much
was. It was like the
keep
perfect
the energy
chill,
with you. Yeah.
chill ending, like go home, vibe out.
Yeah, go
come
home,
back
get
tomorrow,
yourself a
chill.
Yourself
doobie.
together
Yeah.
and come back tomorrow. We'll meet you right
Right.
here. Same
Exactly.
time, same station. Well, a little later, but
So
still,
fun.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, Bree was just saying there wasn't as much exploration in jams, but strong themes. Definitely agree, Bree. Good
Yeah.
point.
Definitely. Yes.
And also I felt like they were sort of easing us into what we were going to experience on night 2. Because honestly, for me, I was just like, okay, I mean, Goosemas was huge. And this is the thing I've been saying and, thinking about these two night runs that they had just weeks apart, which is that Goosemas felt like a lot of spectacle. There was so many components to it. The balls, the Santa, just all the decorations, just everything was so big. But these 2 nights felt like so much substance. They were like, yeah, we don't need a gag. We're going to jam your ass into the new year. That's what we do. And that's what we're going to bring to you on New Year's Eve. And so let's move into night 2. 3 of us got to have dinner together, which was really fun on night 1, and got to see each other, which was really great. And then night 2, we were like, we have to get a picture of the 4 of us. So that was like our challenge for the evening, was to make sure we got the 4 of us in one place at the same time. So what were the vibes? I just will say, one, everybody that came to Cincinnati for New Year's Eve, you all dress your asses off. I was so impressed with all the outfits, all the themes, the group themes, the individual, just everybody looked so good and so excited to be there. The vibes were just, it was like positive times a million. It was just so much positivity. Even the security guards were super positive and like pumped.
They all had
and
Goose shirts
excited.
on.
Well, yeah. So I did get a little intel about that because
Ooh.
I was trying to get one of those shirts off.
Me too.
And they were like, the guy's like, you're the 16th person that's asked me for this shirt. You're not going to get any of them from us, because when they asked us to work tonight, the shirt was part of the deal. It was time and a half, something, and you get a free shirt. And so the guys that were there working that night, all the staff, that was a little like bonus that they got. The venue put the shirts together for them with like the Goose logo and everything for the night. So yeah, it was just, everybody was just, I felt like just riding really high, no pun intended. And just so positive, just happiness. That's what I felt. Just the room was just filled with happiness. What about you, Hannah? What was what was
for the theme thing, I forgot to mention. So Jen, I forget her last name, but she makes Echo of a Rose t-shirts. And I had met her in person briefly at Legend Valley this past summer and wanted to get one of her shirts. Didn't get to. I ended up ordering one from her, and then my best friend ordered one, and he wore his in honor of my rose theme I was trying to make happen. And they were dancing next set. So during set break night 1, I was like, Jen, I was like, I think it's her. And then I was like, Tyler, come here. And he had a hoodie on, and I was like, just take your hoodie off, just go with it. And then the artist who created the design was there. The woman who, Jen, who sells the shirts, was there. And so that was another really cool, happy little moment that happened, was running into them.
Oh, I love that. So again, just like so much community being built separately. And then when we're in the same space together, getting to grab hold of each other and just make sure we touch and agree. Alexius, what was the vibes like? Yeah. What were you thinking down there?
I feel like the same. I feel everyone was dressed, that they came ready, that they were, they came off of a great first night. And so they were ready for a second night. Everyone was so excited to see each other, ready to see those outfits. And, the bathrooms were amazing, and girls like, oh, here, let me help this. Let me help you. Just making sure everyone was so happy and positive and just ready for the evening and ready to vibe together. And, you know, when we were at the rail, if there was someone around us that we didn't know, it was quickly like, hey, my name is, you know, and it's setting that space. So it was all a great positive energy. And so that's what I felt like, more so that everyone was coming in quicker. Like, okay, we're all here. We're all happy. We're excited. You know, let's have good vibes. And I didn't feel any negative vibes. Like sometimes you'll come, you know, getting in there, there'll be people that have that anxiety and things that are going on. And New Year's Eve night, that wasn't there in the beginning of the night. Everyone was really excited to be with each other, really excited to be there and ring in the new year together.
And as we always see, the venue made some adjustments for night 2, like giving everybody water for free whenever they wanted it on multiple levels and from the front, and also as people were walking in and out. So yeah, I just was happy to see those kind of tweaks that they made and changes that they made to address how hot it was, because it wasn't nearly as hot night 2, and also making sure folks could stay hydrated and they didn't have those same dehydration issues. Okay, Chelsea, vibes for you and Atticus. How was everything? And yeah, getting in and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that the first night was I took my nephew to his first show, so he loved it. He cried. Alexis gave him a drumstick, and he loved it. So night 2 he was ready to go, and he bought some Goose merch. Like he was into it. He got the neon orange hat, beanie. He's like representing, so that was fun. So he was with me night 2 as well. We I thought the vibes were a good night 2. It was definitely a little more crowded. I felt around me a little less dancing room, but it was okay. People were, you know, just excited for the New Year's and what were they going to do for the countdown and that sort of thing. Like you're like, don't know what to expect and just excited. So, but it was fun to celebrate, and everyone was dressed up and meeting so many people. I think I talked to so many people about the podcast, and just like so many people that had heard about it already or listened to it, and just like, oh, you're so-and-so. And yeah, I heard this on the podcast. And so it was really good vibes to hear that from everyone that's been supporting us. And
thanks to everybody.
You all
so
everyone
great.
I met. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Everybody's been so positive, so supportive of us. Thank you all so much. It was so great to have stickers to hand out, because it gave us a reason to talk to folks and interact with people. And yeah, I had the same experience, just people just overwhelmingly supportive and super excited to, you know, to support us and let people know about the show. Okay. So set 1 begins. I don't know about y'all, but they literally just threw me into the stratosphere with the opening 3 songs. First of all I need, just beautiful. But that Born, first of all, I was waiting for this Born for a long time. Y'all already know, but that first start, and I want to give a really special shout out to the Getty team, because and to my friend Tony from Hawaii, we were just talking about this during the set, which is that especially during Born and Hunger Sight, they used pretty much the same palette as the Dripfield cover behind them, and so it was sort of like the album coming to life right in front of us, and it was such a beautiful way to kind of enter into the night, and so great. So what was a standout for you, set 1, night 2, Chelsea?
I'm choosing Drive. I love that song. It just makes me dance so much. It's such a good song, and the fact that they played it after Redbird, I don't know, there was something about like going into that song and just being ready to just vibe out. And then like you said, the comma thing earlier, I would say this was kind of like that, of like, okay, we're ending on this really dancey vibe, and just get ready for what's next sort of thing. And so I really was into the Drive. When the set ended, I was just standing there waiting for you guys, like, okay, what do I do?
Everybody
now?
I saw after the first set, Bree said set 1 was perfect. Literally, we all were like, oh my God, they just blew my whole mind. Like, it was a really just one of the strongest sets I've heard from them all year, which is saying a lot, quite a lot. Hannah, how about you? Stand out for you?
I guess. Well, the vibes were just amazing.
Oh,
Night
can we hear
2
you?
felt very.
I can't hear you, Hannah.
I can hear. I can hear. Yeah.
Okay. The vibe was magic for me.
We can hear you, Hannah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we had issues getting all of our friends to one spot for night 2, set 1. And so I'm like standing there, trying to take up a little bit of space, talking to people I don't know super well. that are like friends of friends. And I'm like, oh, I want my friends here. Especially it's like my friend Martin, you all met. It's his birthday. I was like, where's Martin? And then as they're about to start the lyrics to All I Need, Tyler appears out of nowhere. And then slowly all my friends come up and I'm like, this is all I need. And I know that's really cheesy and I don't even care because that was what I needed. And then also, I thought about you, Leslie, because you were talking about how we were going to get a Born.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that came on, I was like, yes, we got the Born. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, finally broke the Born streak. I really
Yeah.
was.
I think
We
we all
didn't hear
had
it
that
all
same thought.
during Boost. We didn't hear it all during Goose Miss. I was like, where is Born exactly? I need it in my life. Alexius, what was the standout for you? Night 2, set 1.
Night 2, set 1. For me, and I'm all about signs and stuff. All I need starting the night and kind of like going into the new year, it was sick. All I need to begin with, like the song was sick, but also to me the message of it, and just for us all to remember that this is all we need. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated, and just to remember that. And so I thought that it was an awesome way to start the set, a sick jam. It was a great way to start the evening. So for me, that was definitely a standout of saying different messages and different things that I get for it. So that was my standout of the night, was All I Need.
Love it. Chelsea, how about you? What was your standout? Did you say already? Am I last? I'm last. Okay. This was really hard because I really loved everything in this set so much. But I have to say the drive also just hit me in the chest. First of all, it's probably the sexiest drive I've heard yet them do. Like literally, it was like dripping off the stage and just really significant. So for me, that was a really standout for me. Just that drive is just really sexy. And yeah, I mean, what a thing to end. And then left sitting there like, oh,
That's how I felt.
my
Then
goodness.
we went and took our photo right after that, and you could see my face. I was just like,
You just
what
see
just
all of us were just
happened?
completely. I said no, we have to do pictures before set 1 moving forward because that break were just
Definitely.
a little, I know on my head is just kind of everywhere. Candace is shouting out Mr. Action, which was the second time ever played, and it was dedicated to the crew. That was really powerful, and I love that
Definitely.
song. It's such a great song, such a beautiful song, and just the sentiment of it. And yeah, I'm sure
I'm glad she said that, because that's
it was really great.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Candace, because that was my other thing that I just didn't say in the notes was, Mr. Action being played. That whole, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite in that way. It just was they were all great. And that was, but Mr. Action being played again. And so, yeah, they were all awesome.
Yeah, they really were. A few things that I noted in my notes. One, at the start of the show, Peter left the stage briefly at the start of All I Need. His guitar was not working. So that was really funny seeing the other 4 guys kind of just like keeping the intro going until he came back around, which was super cute. Let's see, the crowd singing the bridge of Born together and Peter like egging us on to get louder. It was such a beautiful moment, all of us sharing together. It was really beautiful. Machine Gun Rick showed up really significantly in this set. His fingers were moving so fast. I was just like hitting my husband over and over again. And then just to bring it back to Trevor one more time, because every time Machine Gun takes off, I look at Trevor and I'm like, damn, he has to keep up with this dude every time they hit the stage. And so watching Trevor keep up with him too is always so impressive. And Ben, it was a beautiful harmony on the stage. Then as Candace mentioned, the dedication to the crew during Mr. Action and our second time ever played there. A monster Redbird. None of us mentioned it, but I have to just say it's so big it pushed 726 off the set list. Okay, y'all. That's how big that Redbird was.
It was beautiful too.
And the lighting, the lighting I had in my notes for Redbird was just on point for that song.
Gorgeous.
So it's amazing.
Yes.
That whole that's why I was figured that everyone else would pick, would do all the other songs. And so it's like we definitely need to mention this All I Need. But yeah, that whole, and just like you said, like Rick, my standout, I definitely have to say for the whole weekend was Trevor came loaded with his bombs and he unleashed them. Like his solos were so tasty and soulful. And I mean, that was my standout for the weekend. Like I just took away so much of Trevor's soul and brought it home with me, and kind of like am like, oh, I'm gonna have to watch the shows on this place because I'm like, the soundboards aren't bassy enough for me. Like I need more bass.
And I get mad. I'm like, that's not how it felt. Why am I not?
That's it. I said the same thing, and I was like, I don't know I don't know what's going on. I was like, I don't want to be rude to anyone. I was like, but can we check? And and I got in the car because I wanted to make sure it wasn't like the certain stereo or whatever. Got in the car where it should be like real bassy in mine, and it still wasn't in that. And I was like, okay, that's a problem, So I just hope we get our the vibe back in it, because that's super important. But he just unleashed those bombs, and we were all treated to a tasty dessert from Trev. It was
whole show. In fact, on Bandcamp, the photo for this show is Trevor doing in his solos, so they even knew that. Definitely Trevor was a huge display. Okay, so then we have set break. We come in for set 2. First of all, they started in all darkness, and then we see that they're all wearing all white. So what was y'all's thoughts when like the visual first appeared and it was clear like something was happening? What did y'all think off the bat? Chelsea, we'll start with you.
Well, when they first came out, I could really only see Trevor, and he was in like a tank top white beater type thing, and I was like, did Trevor take his shirt off? Was my first thought. And I was like,
did it finally happen?
I was so confused. And then like, I was like, they all have their shirts off. Because I saw Rick had like an undershirt type thing. I was like, did they all have their shirts off? I was just confused, honestly. I was like, what are they doing? I couldn't see all of them to like get the whole vibe, I guess, very well. But I guess there was I found out the theme later.
Yes.
How
about you, Hannah?
So
did you see all of them, or what did you think?
I could. I'm not going to name names, but we have a chomper in our group, and he knows who he is. Okay,
stop chomping, yo!
Don't chomp,
Chomper, no name Chomper, kept asking me and Tyler what we thought they were going to do for New Year's Eve, and so that like I'm very stubborn. So like when you keep poking me, I'm just gonna be like, I'm not saying shit to you. I'm not making any predictions. Like Tyler was playing along, like, oh, maybe this will happen, maybe that will happen. And so I was really glad I didn't, because I was like, there's no way I could have predicted any of this. And I forget which meme site it is, but there was one meme where they like compared the New Year's Eve black and white to color with the Wizard of Oz going into color. And that's exactly how it felt. Yeah. So I couldn't have imagined that, but that was definitely a surprise, but an awesome surprise. And Chomper, stop chomping.
What did you think, Alexis? Stop chomping out there, y'all.
For real.
Down with the chompers. Go ahead, Alexis.
So, I see the all white come out, and like all of us were just like, okay, what's the first off? I'm like, okay, no one told me the theme to be dressing in all white, but I'm going through my mind of, what could this all white mean? What could this? And at that point, I'm like, okay, all white outfits, white screen behind, just trying to go over the things. And obviously I don't get it right of what it is. And, and a generic first thing is I was like, are they doing like an angel theme or something? Like all white? Are we going to do it? Yeah, they are. Are we going to do a wedding? Like all the generic, and just so, and I'm just like, how does white go with New Year's Eve? Like what is, so at that point I'm just trying to figure out, and then I'm like, okay, just don't worry about it. Just, focus on the show. We'll figure it out at midnight. We'll figure out what the deal is at midnight. And so I was definitely just intrigued to what is going on, and just always how they figure out a way to make it, and it's just not easy. It's just not like, oh, bam, here we are. Like they have like a whole, like, ooh, let's figure it out, like a deeper connection with it. And then once we found out, I was like, that is deep.
Yeah,
That,
very
yeah.
much so. The thing I thought when they came out of all white was like, oh, we're supposed to. This is a new thing they're starting. Like to me, it was like slate, wash, clean. Whatever you were feeling first set, like we're doing something different. So to me, it felt like kind of a restart for all of us, like visually, like hey,
Yeah.
signal. Something different is happening, and we're restarting you again. We're gonna take you into something. And then, of course, when they open with Dr. Darkness, I was like, oh, okay, they're in white. They're playing Dr. Darkness. Everything's black and white. I like to me, like that's when I started being like, oh, especially because the figure was like on the screen. It seemed like it was kind of trying to come through the screen. I was just like, wow. Candace is saying, yeah, only Getty would know to tie all white and Dr. Darkness together and make it all work. Yeah, it was really, really very, very special. And so that was my first thing that I thought was like, it was a cue to all of us, like, hey, pay attention. Something new is about to happen.
Right.
Keep
That's
your
a great idea, great way to look at it. I was more elementary style. You were up here. Do great job, Leslie.
Well, I didn't know what was gonna happen. That was just, to me, it was like a signal, like, okay, let me pay more attention to whatever's happening up here. Was like a signal to us, like, hey, we're doing something here. Pay attention to whatever it is. Which was cool and of course, brilliant. Okay. So favorite song from set 2, night 2. Hannah, we'll start with you.
Oh, well, I was really excited. So I had been telling some friends who are like really into Fish, 90% sold on Goose, that they should check out Thatch. And so I was so pumped when they played that. And then on my drive home last night, in like the last 20 minutes when I was just completely out of steam, that song from that night came on because I was like, I would try to time it where I would end night 2 as I was getting home. And I was like, this is everything I need right now to get me home. Because, it is like we've talked about how it's that pump up song that just gets you going. And so, I think that would have to be like, I guess, controversial. That was not my favorite new song like it was y'all's out of the 16 new ones released. But, after those experiences, I'm like, it might be number 2.
Batch goes very hard.
Yes.
If you listen to our most recent episode, you already heard me go on and on about how much I fucking love this song. And I was so excited when I heard it start. Chelsea, how about you? Favorite song night 2? I already know what yours is going to be, but I'm going to let you say it.
Obviously, the Empress of Organos. That's what I had hoped for when we talked about it in our one episode. And then it was on the set list for night 1, which I knew that night after the show was over. I saw the set list and I was like, they didn't play it. So I was hoping they would play it night 2. I wore my crown that night. I was channeling the Empress. I was really hoping for it. So I was so happy that I got it. And that's just the perfect song for me, like starting a new year, being positive, just like nothing can bring you down. It's so happy and uplifting. So that was a great way to start the new year. In my opinion, they played it right after the midnight countdown and all that. So that was amazing.
And I was thinking of you the whole time because I knew you wanted that.
Yes. I know. I had like people that I had met earlier in the night come up like, oh, I'm glad you got your Empress. Like, so that was exciting.
I love it.
And also it was just like such a good Empress. Like, oh my gosh.
It was really good.
And
just saying, our episode this week was titled "Oh, What a Day to Be Living." Yes. I just wanted to mention that happened. We didn't know title this week's episode. So we were channeling Empress all around Goose Chicks podcast. Alexa, did you pick your favorite from this?
No. I did not say what. So my favorite was that Madhavan, and just going, that Madhavan was sick. It was just absolutely sick. And just what a way to end the new year and bring in a new year. And so it was a sick Madhavan. They had what's the New Year song that you usually
sang.
They had that in between, and so I just that Madhavan was sick, and I'm a huge fan of it anyway. But it was just it was super great with all the different jams in it, and Trevor just, again, Trevor killing it, and Ben killing it, and and just, I mean, Ben, just the way that an amazing drummer, and I don't think like people enough, like that he gets enough attention. I don't think the drummers ever do, but like just how much that he's like keeping up, and just I don't even see how he plays that long with that many limbs going at different speeds, keeping up with different things. And that's pure talent right there.
Yeah, and
So
with him, like even the littlest flick of his finger like creates a different sound. Like I always in the shows, when they do close-ups on him, I'm always watching like, oh my goodness, every little movement that he makes is a different sound back there, and it's really always so impressive. For sure. I felt the 80s vibes very strongly through the entire second set, as well as I mentioned. It's hard for me to pick a favorite from this set because we played Thatch, which, as y'all know, is one of my favorites, and just was such a hard driving Thatch too. 11 minutes, really, really great. But I have to say, for me, the standout was the closing drip field. First of all, the conversation between Rick and Peter as they were doing the little breakdown solo. Peter like walked away, and Rick was like, "Yeah, you're not going yet," and made Peter come back over to continue their musical conversation. And it was just so special to like be so up close to see it right in front of us, and them interacting with each other so brilliantly. And they were communicating a lot during these sets. One, they've started now having in-ear stuff where they can talk to each other, but also Peter has his mirror, and I could see after when they were going into the jam for Slow Ready, Peter stopped, and he was waiting for Rick to finish having a drink of water. It was the cutest thing. I could see him watching, and then when Rick put his cup down, he like went into the solo part. So just those little things that I really appreciated about the entire like night, and how they were all in this great musical conversation. But yeah, that drip field at the end was really special, and the Thatch was great. And then I have to mention Trevor's solo, because I mean, you just have to.
Can you not?
Just really amazing. I just remember I just was staring up to like, oh my gosh, look at Trevor. It was just like perfect. The lighting was perfect. The moment was perfect. And all the other guys looking at him too. It was just really just beautiful to see. Just really makes you feel good that you can see how connected they are all to each other, because it really radiates out to the audience and helps us all be connected to each other and to them as well. And I wanted to give a shout out to Rick's falsetto on Indian River.
Yes.
Listen, that was really impressive. I was like, wow, yeah.
That's actually in my notes. Like my whole, like my second set list and stuff. It's not easy to say which one. It's like Indian River, Modivine going into that, and then Thatch and Dripfield and Animal, and so it's just by the tiniest hair possible, like the thinnest of thin, like that was how Modivine got, because that whole set and just it was sick. It was
and how they chose to bring us into the new year. Like, no, we're gonna jam into the new year. That's it. That's what you're gonna get. We're gonna jam through it. We're gonna play 1.5 minutes of All Lang Syne, and then we're getting right back to the jam.
Right.
So to me, when I say about substance and spectacle, that's what I mean, is that they really, to me, it was like, nah, if you came to see Goose on New Year's, like you're getting the full Goose, like literally you're getting all of it. And it was just really beautiful to see. And they put so much energy up there for us. These are monster songs. I mean, Empress and Thatch and Dripfield and Silver Rising, which
with the wolf shirt,
and all of us howling in the audience. I mean, all of it was just such a great, like, just the feeling of it, the moment, everything so wonderful. And you're right, it was just hard to pick a favorite.
This year's
and
Love.
Again, I just was so happy about how they brought us into the new year. So yeah, let's move on to the encore, because they left the stage for a little bit and they came back out and played This Year's Love with just Peter and Rick to start off with, and then Trevor joined them. And first of all, what did y'all think of that? I hadn't seen it before. It was the first time I'd seen them just coming on stage by themselves to do anything together. And I loved I just loved that moment that they gave us, that quiet moment of, let's hone in and sing this beautiful David Gray song for everybody before we tear the ripcord off again and party you guys out of here. So yeah, just curious what y'all thought about, the two ends of that final encore of the year.
They took us on a journey.
Yes. Very beautiful journey.
A very beautiful journey.
I was very blown away by that. It was very blown away by that. I was like, really? So
Yeah.
I don't even know if there are words to describe how I feel about it. I'm still processing that one. This weekend run was definitely a show that I'm still trying to process. I was still trying to process it to even, to do tonight's show. And I'm like, I don't even think I'm fully processed yet. Like, this is one that I'm gonna have to sit down and break down.
Keep watching. Speaking of watching, Goose is premiering the 2-night run on their YouTube tomorrow, Friday the 6th, and on Saturday the 7th. So, this is a great appetizer. Some things to look for going into watching those two shows if you haven't watched them yet. I know I'll be watching again. I'm gonna watch these shows probably like 16 more times because they're just so amazing, especially night 2. I mean, just really, really special musical moments and yeah, just beautiful. I'll never miss New Year's Eve with Goose ever again. That's what I have to say. That's really my big lesson.
Isn't that what I said about Gooseness? So every Gooseness, every New Year's
spending
Eve.
every December together. We're just gonna spend every December together. It'll be wonderful.
There you go.
So funny. Okay. Any last things about the set before we get into our little closing here?
Just ending with Animal, like ending the entire show with Animal. I don't know. There was something about that of just, it was amazing. You just left on a high of just, I'm an animal. This is how I felt when I left.
Be an animal for this year. Get your animal out. Get that animal energy.
Yes. It was just a great way to end the night. And I definitely I did not expect them to end it that way.
It was great too, because when Jeff and Ben came back on stage, everybody in the front were like, "Where are they going to play? Where are they going to play?" And then whenever it's Animal, it's like a ripple that goes across the crowd because everyone's like, "I think it's Animal. Is it Animal? I think it's Animal." It's so funny to me. Every time they play that song, it's like that's the energy that everybody has. Like, "Oh my gosh, I think they're playing it. Are they playing it? I think it is." And so that was just really, I felt that energy move through the crowd and everybody was just like, oh shit, they're really doing it. Like,
yeah, because
they're
I'm
ending
also
the year with Animal. Like,
I think they teased it a couple times throughout the show because I was just listening to Dripfield and there's definitely Animal teases in that. And there was one other time that I was like, are they playing Animal? But it wasn't. So I feel like they teased it a couple times too. And then it was finally like the last song. So
I knew we were going to get an Animal because y'all have been talking about it a lot. I just sensed it, like my spider sense.
Yeah, because apparently they delivered all the songs. Every song.
I wish.
But also, this is kind of nerdy or weird, or I don't know. Maybe it's because I do what I do for a living, but that song now makes me really proud to be a Goose fan because of what Leslie, you were saying, Drew was saying about how it's more inclusive, talking about like move your body. And so like now when I hear them play Animal, I have this sense of pride of like, this is my favorite band right now. And they're inclusive and everyone can move their body. And like, just what that symbolizes and what that means for so many people who maybe feel left out of like dancing at shows a lot of the time. So I love that you and Drew introduced me to that idea. And I appreciate, that's one of the things I love about this podcast is because y'all point out stuff to me that I wouldn't necessarily think about. And then when I go into a show now, I appreciate all these things. And like you were talking about the amp, and I noticed all these things about the amp, night 1, set 1, and so, it made me proud in this really weird way to be a Goose fan.
Oh, that's awesome. Speaking about the amp, so I just definitely wanted to go over this, but the amp is it's actually Peter's, so it's not it's the one that it's the one that Peter was using that was making that, and so they had switched it out. And if I could find we'll have to like bring it up on another show because I actually have like all the information about it. And so it's actually Peter's amp. You can see it on, Peter gives information about it on his his Facebook page. And but it isn't like one that was, and that was interesting just to see that, that they just switched out like that. And that, so I was just like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting to know. And so I can't find it right now, but I have like all the information on it, and all the information on it. And so I was just very, oh, here it is. Here we go. So it says, one of my friends says the speculation has been entertaining. Both goose rigs are always evolving. Rick found an amp head that he liked and switched it from his Mesa combo, which is in service for a while. The speaker cabinet is actually being used by Peter and was moved over to Rick's world when he got the boogie head. Rick has been liking the way it sounds with the head, so there it is until further tinkering. And yes, they are, the TT phase is inside the Hard Truckers cab. So it's a custom 2x12 speaker cab, but so it didn't, I guess he just wanted to know, like, it didn't, not Rick or something, but a friend was like, this is just something that but Peter and Rick put together. And and I was like, oh, well, that's really interesting. Thank you for, I was like, now I will reach out to you. Thanks for Mr. Doctor.
All of our amp questions. I love it. All of our rig questions.
Yes.
Yeah, their rigs are always changing. Peter's been adding more and more pedals to his setup. Every show, there's like 2 more pedals added on. So that's pretty funny. I've been noticing it's been getting more and more. You see him even having to step over them more. He has to maneuver himself around them, which is hilarious.
I don't even see how he doesn't. Like, I would just be so through certain, because he gets so, like, I love Peter and his energy, and he's like, to me, it's just so excited when he's going to step over things. I would at some point in time probably just like over the pedals, because he's getting so much more, and so many. I love to go in and see Peter's, like, what has Peter added this time? What is Peter, what has Peter done?
Yeah.
There's
always more things, more toys for them to play with, which we love. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We have a couple of announcements, and we're going to do one quick thing at the end. Chelsea, we'll start with you. I think
she's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
You unmute?
I can't hear her.
Oh, sorry, y'all.
There you are.
I'm here. Okay. Subscribe to Goose Chicks Podcast. Our latest episode is a recap of the incredible year Goose had in 2022 and is available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Goose Chicks Podcast.
Be sure to follow us on social media. We're Goose Chicks Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, which I guess means I'm going to have to learn TikTok because I'm old and I don't use it.
So, reminder to give us a call. Remember to give us a call and share your own Goose and Jam Band stories. Call 704-275-3128. You might hear your own call on the show. This week, we are asking folks to share their favorite jam of 2022 with us. Again, that phone number is 704-275-3128.
Awesome. We want to thank our guests tonight, Bree and Kelsey and Sarah. Thank you for joining us again, sending our warmest healing messages to John out there. Hopefully he's listening. And so I had one final prompt. This is from one of our Twitter followers at 904 Vickers, who was asking a bunch of Big Goose Twitter, BGT, to give their favorites from 2022. And we did some of this in our 2022 recap, but I thought these were good ones to go with. So we'll start off with our favorite new song of 2022. Hannah, what's your favorite new song of 2022?
Mine has changed. It was Everything Must Go, but now it's Mr. Action after New Year's Eve.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Alexius.
My favorite new song would be probably Animal.
I thought that's what you might say. Chelsea, how about you? Favorite new song 2022?
I'm also going to go with Animal, but I'm really torn with Born as well. I really adore Born. And that was such an important song for me. So But they're
Yes.
it's a
Listen to
different.
episode 3 to listen to Chelsea's story, y'all. Go back if you haven't listened. It's
Yes.
really moving and really inspiring.
Yes.
So please go listen to that too.
Okay.
I picked Thatch as my favorite new song. I have a feeling it's going to serve me really well this year. So that's why I'm picking it as my favorite of 2022. All right. Favorite cover of 2022, Alexius. What are you going with for that one?
Whoo, Disco Inferno. Burn,
Oh, the
burn,
Fox.
Disco
Jeez.
Inferno. Burn, baby,
Wow.
burn.
That was an experience for sure.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't pass on that one. That was
Love it.
that was amazing.
Chelsea, favorite cover 2022.
I'm going with What's Up in NOLA. I was at that show, and when they played that song, the crowd was just, everyone was singing along, and it was so much fun. And I think that was a really fun moment. So What's Up?
I think I took a video of that moment. It was that palpable. Like everybody was
Yeah,
really into
I
it.
did
So
too. Yeah.
my favorite cover was Fifth of Beethoven. I just wasn't expecting it, and it really was just great and wonderful, and they do disco really well, so they really are able to hit the right notes with disco songs. Hannah, how about you?
So when you posed this question, the first thing that popped into my head was Atlantic City.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's a
realize,
great one.
I don't know. I'm sure they played it in 2023 or 2022, either as a Ray Below or I interpreted it as my all-time favorite cover. So
Cover. Got it. All right. Song MVP of the year. I gave this one to Animal. I think every time it showed up on a set list, it was killer, and the audience really loved it. So for me, 2022 was the year of Animal. So that's what I'll give my song MVP to. Chelsea, how about you?
Oh gosh, I just put Madhavan because I feel like that song is always killer and just always has such a good message. So that's just overall to me of all time one of their songs that always is just up there.
Absolutely. Alexius, how about you?
So, song of MVP song and in concert, I would have to say would have been Slow Ready in Asheville. The energy, like there was a special, like everyone went down on the build up, and and when it comes dun, 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 like the whole crowd just jumps up and starts dancing together. So there's that song, the energy in it, that's definitely my MVP for the year. Even though Animal was on my birthday, this is not even a fair, like
it's never
not
fair.
even,
Also, we all have attendance bias. I know I do. I'm always like, I've listened to all the shows, but I definitely have a bias for the ones I happen to be there for.
So I have all these things. So
how about you? Song MVP.
Arcadia, because after that Trey Arcadia, like I can
Yeah,
that
really
song will
good.
always pull together the set list from now on. I'll just think of that.
I'm shouting
All
out
right.
RJ put El Meg at Red Rocks, and yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
See,
yeah,
that's
RJ,
it.
that was amazing.
Yes.
Can we go favorite song per show?
Well, now is the very controversial favorite show of 2022 category. So, Hannah, what are you giving your winner to for this one?
I'm just going to go with my gut and say Legend Valley, because I'm from about 20 minutes east of where that venue is. If you stop to go to like Cracker Barrel or which my friends and I always go to, it's a thing, or anywhere off. If you stop at 256, that exit is one of the last restaurant exits before getting to Legend Valley. That's had some wild days when I was a teenager there. So I got to give shout out to Legend Valley.
Love it. Alexius, how about you? Favorite show 2022?
I
told you it was controversial. You have to pick. I'm putting you on the spot.
Go with your gut.
I was going to say Radio City Music Hall when Trey came in the first, and that honestly, like that to me was, there was so much hype over other shows, and Father Misty comes in. So yeah, I'll just roll with that one. I'll say Radio City Music Hall was top for me.
Excellent. Chelsea?
I'm going to go with St. Louis in October of this year. I was at that show and it was such a fun dancey show. I had so much fun. That was just like the best night. So I had so much fun at that show, and I got a Jeff Ongboy that night, the middle of the show. It was amazing. So St. Louis.
Yeah, I heard that show is awesome. So that's awesome.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
I gave mine to the Stubbs 10-8 show. I don't know when I'm going to see Big Boy in front of me again, much less playing with Goose. So it just was a really special moment, and to share it with everybody that was there and to see the band's reaction to it, it was just really special. And the whole set was, the whole show was really amazing. But I don't think I'll ever get over it. I think I shared like my little snippet of video on my IG story. I was like, I don't think I'll ever be over it. I don't think I will ever get over Big Boy just jumping on the stage and saying, "What up, Rick?" and the mic. I'll never get over it. I'll never get over it. So that gets my favorite show for the year. RJ's also saying fair facts, just saying. Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure, RJ, especially with
Absolutely.
you, our honorary Goose Chick top right there. He is our honorary Goose Chick for sure.
All right. And as we sign off, your 2023 wish. I'll start. I really want Goose to play Saturday Night Live. So that's my number one 2023 wish for the band. And then selfishly, I'll also wish that we get 1, 2, 3, all of the guys to come talk with us here at Goose Chicks Podcast in 2023. So those are my 2 big wishes, SNL for the band, and for us to get some or one of the guys on to come join us and have a little chat with the Goose Chicks here with us. All right, Hannah, 2023 wishes. Here we go.
I would love to get Cap tickets because professors don't make as much money as you'd think, and those tickets are hella expensive. But I already have my plane ticket, so I know I'm gonna go to at least a couple nights. So that Candace is saying Western Sun Foundation blooms. Totally agree with that. And just going to more shows for sure, being able to hang out with y'all more, and also SNL. But like, I want to add to that and say I want them to actually like do a skit, because I think that they would be so hilarious, right? Like, even if it's just like, you know, Peter, because he's more extroverted, like, come on.
I'd love, what if they did a parody song? That would be the dream.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
SNL parody that Goose was doing. Anyways, I hope everyone's listening at SNL. I don't know. Just in case. Take these gems and ideas with you. Trust me, people show up for Goose. So yeah.
And Monks of Saigon.
Alexius, how about you? Wishes for 2023.
Wishes for 2023. I'm just going to the Goose Chicks podcast, that we bloom, that we have an awesome year and able to share the love and fun and enjoy with everyone, and everyone enjoys, and the just peace and love to the whole community and to the band. And just, I know it's cheesy, but just truly just everyone to be happy, and us all to grow, in this community to grow in harmony together, and things just to be wonderful together, and it not be hard as it's growing.
I love it. Chelsea, how about you? Wish list for 2023.
Okay, so I definitely hope they play Red Rocks again and that I can go. I was unable to make the shows this year because I was traveling to Costa Rica and back.
RJ wants 2 at Red Rocks this year.
Yeah, 2 at Red. I'll take as many as they want to give. So yeah, and he said Fred too. That would be fun too. So Red Rocks show would be amazing for me. I definitely just want to see as many shows as I can with you guys. It's like if 3 of us are going, I'm like the 3 of you are talking about New York, and I'm like, I gotta go. Like it can't be the only one. So there's gonna be a lot of FOMO.
Chicago. I'm like, all going to Chicago. I gotta go to Chicago now. Like literally, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah. We're going to Chicago.
Oh yeah, no,
I am.
It's Tyler's birthday. You guys are definitely going.
Chelsea's already going, and then Hannah said she was going to go, and I was like, "Well, I could go." And so we're.
It's definitely the FOMO's going to be
Chicago crew. Look out! I'm coming.
Yeah. This is what our group chats are like, everybody. Just so y'all know,
it really
it's just
is
us being like, "Okay, We're gonna go
absurd.
here. We're gonna do this. Just trying to line more stuff up. All right. Thank y'all for doing that. And shout out to 902 Vickers for the questions. That was really fun to just do that at the end of the show.
Thank you,
Again,
902 Vickers.
do not miss the premiere of both New Year's Run shows on Goose's YouTube channel tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday night. We will see you all soon. And remember, be kind to each other out there. We love y'all. Bye, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.